Am I the asshole for demanding my son take his daughter on his family trip to Disneyland? I got pregnant with my son Julius, 28, about a month after my 18th birthday. I tried to do my best for him and he got into a good engineering school, but at 19, he got his then-girlfriend Iza pregnant and they had Annabella together. I've been the one who has mostly raised her. Iza got deported but they spend July together and FT every night. Julius got married to his girlfriend Katya after graduation and they have 2 wonderful boys together. Annabella lives with me and not with them. The thing is, Julius never spends any time with Annabella. He doesn't even call to say good night. But she loves him so much. It's like once a month, he'll show up with a box full of toys, spend a day with her and then go back to his family. It hurts her so much that he doesn't spend time with her because he's her hero. I'm just grandma. And no, he doesn't act this way because of his wife. Katya would love to have Annabella move in with them. She once brought up the idea and she went on about all the things they could do together. She would love to be her stepmom, calls her princess, sweetie and so many nice nicknames. The only reason they haven't is because Julius has said she should stay with me. A few days ago, Julius told me that he and Katya were planning a trip to Disneyland in August. I told him that Annabella would be so excited and he should tell her on her birthday, and he just blankly told me she's not coming and the trip is for his boys. I made it clear to him that he needed to bring her on the trip and he just called me an asshole, which he's never done before, for trying to control him. I admit that I was a bit controlling in my reaction, but I don't think I went that far. So he just pawned his child off on you for eternity? Does he send you child support? Does he make any actual effort to be a father to his daughter? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This man has abandoned his daughter. I wouldn't be surprised if he only brings the toys because his wife makes him. That said, I wouldn't recommend forcing this trip. His resentment will definitely spill over onto her, and she won't have that great of a time. Not the asshole. Sue him for child support. Not the asshole. This is heartbreaking. I don't know what exactly happened when I became a father, but several switches flipped and I can't read a post like this with a fully dry face. How dare anyone do this to their child? I don't mean the Disneyland thing specifically. His daughter. How does he abandon his daughter? His duty is absolute, and he has absolutely failed in it. And #X200B. As others have said, can you take her yourself? He's just going to treat her miserably there, holding her presence against her. It'll be horrible for her. Not the asshole. What is up with your son? He has 3 children, but completely abandoned one of them. I know you probably won't want this, but would a better option be for her to live with her mother? Your son is the huge asshole here. I don't get how his wife can lie beside him at night. The last man I want to build a family with is one who abandons his child. You are not the asshole. He seems to enjoy pretending his little tryst with Iza never happened and you were there to clean up his mess so he never had to assume any responsibilities for her. Sad. I'm so sorry. You wanted your son to take his daughter to Disneyland, he refused and you wonder if you're the asshole? How about no? You're not the asshole. Your son, on the other hand, definitely the asshole. Not the asshole. But I think you need to accept that your son doesn't love his daughter and never wanted her. That he's never going to take her to live with him and that you're going to be the only parent that kid is going to have. Am I the asshole for telling my husband to stop disrespecting our surrogate? Me, F34. My husband Hunter, M37, suffered from fertility problems. We recently decided to get a surrogate who's a friend of a friend. We were busy getting everything done legally. We already had a contract in place. My egg was used, so no worries in this regard. Plus our surrogate is a respectful, kind woman who's been keeping her part of the contract intact. But it's Hunter who's starting to act strange. I've noticed that he's been focusing his all attention on our surrogate, like skipping work to visit her or get her things she didn't ask for. Chat with her all the time on social media and also constantly offering to do things for her, like drive her places and sometimes even invite her out or offer to repair stuff for her. She complained to me about this and even told me about things he's been doing that I didn't even know about, like bringing her gifts. I tried speaking to him about what this looks like, but he said that he's doing what he's doing for his son and not her. Still, I asked that he tone it down and respect the woman's space. He got mad at me and accused me of being jealous of the woman who's carrying my own child and said that this makes me look bad. I said our surrogate was the one who complained about his behavior and he said that this wasn't true. Apparently this made him somewhat angry, so I gave him time to cool down a bit. Yesterday, our surrogate called me saying that Hunter came over and told her guests to leave. I asked why and she said that he wanted to show her the 9K car he bought for her. I was shocked. She said she declined the car and asked him to leave, but he started arguing with her about using public transportation and risking our baby's well-being. I was fuming. I called him demanding he get home and he did eventually. Once he got back I picked up a fight with him and yelled at him saying that he's been nothing but overstepping, disrespectful, and inappropriate towards our surrogate. Again he explained the car wasn't for her but to ensure that the baby is safe. I told him to stop disrespecting the woman and stop using the baby as an excuse to stomp all over her boundaries. He ranted about how he was just trying to make this work and that I should do the same if not more. He even accused me of not loving our son as much he does, but this isn't the way, and putting 9K for car without telling me. He left the house for a while then came back and refused to speak to me. I might have been hard on him, he might have just been oblivious, so I'm less sure seeing his reaction now. Not the asshole. This is upsetting behavior. It's one of two things. 1. He has a crush on her, or 2. He thinks he has a right to police pregnant women's bodies. It's inappropriate regardless. You should quietly assist her in getting an attorney to draft a cease and desist letter to him. You may or may not get the baby, but frankly I'm not sure your marriage, specifically just your husband and his odd behavior, none of your doing, is in a place to need a baby right now. ETA Lots of people said there's no way she wouldn't get the baby. My bad, I saw the word friend and wrongly assumed it was an informal surrogacy without legal advice. Not the asshole. Reading that creeped me out on a deep level. He sounds like a stalker that's obsessed. Does he not realize that stressing her out by being intense and domineering could harm the baby? He needs help and possibly a restraining order. Not the asshole. He's actually endangering the successful arrival of your son because he's not only causing stress to your surrogate, he's also making her so uncomfortable that she might seek legal recourse to break the contact. Maybe schedule a formal meeting with lawyers and your surrogate so she can express her needs officially? That might be a way for your husband to actually see the severity of his behavior. NTA. Have him seek therapy before baby is born. Not the asshole. I'm concerned for your surrogate, you, and your son. Not the asshole. Stop being a go-between for your surrogate and husband though. I think she needs to talk to him directly, maybe with you also present in the room if she's not comfortable alone with him, so he knows it's coming from her. Also, do you guys share finances at all? $9K is a lot to spend without even mentioning it to his wife. Not the asshole, and also yikes. Seriously, I hope this turns out to be the plot of a movie I didn't catch and not something involving real-life people. Your surrogate needs a lawyer to figure out how to protect herself for the duration of this pregnancy, and Hunter needs therapy to figure out why he thinks this is okay. And you probably need both those things separately yourself to figure out your path forward if he continues to act like this, because it does not bode well for how parenting as a team is going to go. Not the asshole. But if I was your surrogate, I'd be demanding he either gets counseling or a restraining order. His behavior is highly irregular and inappropriate. He needs a third party to come in and say, "This is not acceptable," because he won't listen to either of you. There's some sort of anxiety going on about this baby that needs to be dealt with. By causing the surrogate stress, he's indirectly affecting his own child negatively. Maybe if explained to him that way he'll cool his jets. Am I the asshole for ditching my wife at the mall because she was taking too long? I'm a 34-year-old man, and my wife is 29. We have been married for 5 years. Since we started dating, she has always taken her sweet time doing everything. Getting dressed, doing her makeup, eating, whatever it is, she takes forever. I'm generally a patient person, but I get extremely anxious when I'm late for something with a scheduled starting time. Alone, I have never been late for anything. With her in tow, I'm late for everything. The most frustrating thing about this is that she seemingly has no ability to comprehend that she's making people wait. If I even suggest that she move a little faster, she gets really defensive. A few years ago one of her best friends dumped her because she was tired of her chronic lateness. Last night, we went out to see a movie. Getting to the mall before the movie started was a battle itself, but miraculously with the prospect of doing some shopping before it, she was able to gather her necessary belongings and get there with time to spare. She started shopping while I more or less followed her, until it was about time to get to the theater. When I told her this, she was talking to a sales clerk about the clothes that she wanted to buy, and she told me to hang on for a second. As usual, hang on meant, I have absolutely no concern about your needs because I'm doing my own thing right now and anything other than what I want to do is out of the question. I waited around for a couple more minutes until she started taking jeans off the shelves to try on new combinations. The previews had already started. I told her again, and she said we can just skip the previews. At this point I just walked away, which she naturally didn't notice, turned off my phone, and enjoyed the movie myself. As a side note, I missed the first few minutes of it waiting for her, standing in line, and making my way to the theater. On my way out of the theater I saw her on a bench in the lobby beside herself because I ditched her. I honestly didn't feel bad at all and told her that I'd do it again. This made her more upset, and finally we had an awkward quiet drive home. Apparently she was actually looking forward to the movie too. Was I the asshole in this situation? I felt it was supposed to be tough love, but she seems really hurt. Not the asshole. This is what you have to do moving forward. Tell her that you're leaving in 15 minutes and follow through. One warning, then go. Stop discussing and explaining. Start showing. Though, in the future, send a text. I'm at the movie and I'm sitting center right. Turning phone off now. Not the asshole. Initially I was sympathetic to your wife, as someone who is also chronically late. However, when you described that her response to you informing her the previews are starting was to go try on more jeans, I lost all sympathy. That's not chronic lateness, that's chronic disrespect for other people's time. Not the asshole. Chronically late people that have no issue ruining other people's plans because they live in their own self-centered world need to realize that, shockingly, the world doesn't in fact revolve around them. I honestly don't know how you've put up with it for so long. That type of disrespect would drive me bananas. Not the asshole. You told her at least twice it was time to leave and go to the movie. Her response was you can miss some of the movie because she's busy. She easily could have bought a ticket when she was done and come and found you in the theater. She didn't. She 100% knows this is an issue if you constantly bring it up and she's lost friends over it. She just doesn't care. Info. Why couldn't she buy her own movie ticket when she finally realized that you had gone ahead to the movies? Not the asshole. This is only due to her history of lateness. If you ditched her on the first time then it would be different. She needs to learn that there are others involved and their time is just as important as hers. I am a stickler for time as well and hate being late. If my wife was always late like I would have done the exact same thing as you have but wouldn't even miss the previews. Not the asshole. If she wanted to see the movie, you gave her ample warnings to get her going, and I'm assuming you didn't leave her penniless, since she was still shopping. Could she have not just bought herself a ticket? I'd have lost my patience at this point too, good grief. We're in a similar boat. I also do big stress about being on time. And my husband often makes us a bit late to things too. But at least he's apologetic about it and recognizes it's a problem that he's working on. Your wife seems incredibly disrespectful of your time and anxieties. Have you had a serious talk about that? Not the asshole. Couldn't she have went to see the movie still after she was done instead of sitting on a bench? Y'all were at same place, it's not like you ditched her without a ride or something. Am I the asshole for putting my daughter to sleep? My wife and I had our daughter 9 months ago. The person she was 9 months ago and the person she is now are completely different people. She's so mad all the time. Like at the smallest things I do or say. Like I can't even sneeze without setting her off. When I try to help her with our baby, she accuses me of thinking she's a bad mom. When I back off she says that I act like I don't care about the baby. When she got back to work, I could tell it was taking a toll on her and I suggest hiring a nanny. We both work good jobs and we could definitely afford it. I just wanted her to be able to have some time to herself after work. She said that I thought she couldn't handle being a mother and that I wanted to bring a younger woman who hasn't had a baby into our home to fill her role. A few nights ago, she had to work later than usual. She said she'd be at most an hour and a half late, but she ended up being nearly 2.5. I stayed up with the baby until it got late and I put her to bed. I thought it'd be a good time for us to have some time together, so I made us a nice dinner. She got home past our daughter's bedtime to me setting the table for us. She asked where she was and I told her I put her down. She lost her shit. She was yelling at me and telling me I wasn't helping her. She said that she just wanted to see her baby and I took that from her. I told her that it was late and I just wanted to do something nice for her. The night was ruined and we spent it arguing. I slept on the couch that night and now she isn't talking to me outside of short angry 2 or 3 word sentences. Am I the asshole? This sounds like severe postpartum depression. Not the asshole, but your wife needs a therapist, badly. This sounds like it's probably postpartum depression, or something very, very similar. You need to sit down with her and have a very real discussion about this. It's not normal, it's not her normal, and you're worried about her. You aren't trying to take away her role, you're trying to do what a father is supposed to do. You need to get her to a doctor like yesterday. She has postpartum depression. You're not the asshole as long as you're proactive about helping her. My husband was given pamphlets and a mini lecture by my doctor after our daughter was born because not all women notice the signs of PPD or think they need treatment. In these situations it falls on the partner. He was given numbers to call if I was exhibiting symptoms but insisted I was fine. Your wife needs therapy right away. She could be suffering from postpartum. This kind of behavior is indicative of that. Call your doctor and have her see them right away before she gets worse. ETA. Nah. Not the asshole. But it sounds like your wife has PPD or PPA and needs some medical help. Being a mom, especially a working mom, is really hard, and as someone who lived with PPD for years I can say definitely that it changes you fundamentally. Get her help. It might not bring her back to her pre-baby self, but she will stop being so hard on herself and it will stop her from flying off the handle at every little thing. Remember, being pregnant and giving birth changes you on literally every level. It's not that she's acting like a different person, she literally is one. Sometimes mourning your past self and being hurt that parenting is so much harder than advertised can really take a toll on a person. NTA. You are a good parent. She needs to seek counseling and figure out what she's upset about. For goodness sake, choose a different title though. Not the asshole. But it sounds like your wife has a bad case of PPD. Raising it might be a difficult conversation, but it's one that needs to be had. She needs help that you can't provide. It sounds like your wife might be struggling with PPD. This is a job for a mental health professional, not Reddit.